Okay, today we are canning bone broth. It's a very exciting time in the year when I'm trying to get the freezers cleaned as much as possible to get a new half cow in there. So we have broth on the mind because I have roosters in there that we process that we need to move through, and we also have some bones left over from chickens that we process that we pieced out. So I have backs and feet. So I've been making a lot of broth. And what I do is I make as much broth as I could get in one go, which is my large pressure cooker. I can do 5.5 quarts of broth at a time. So I do 2 loads of that. One I put in the freezer, the other I have that I just put in the fridge. Skim the fat off of there, which the fat then looks like this. Skimmed off, put it all in a big pot, which I have here behind me. Some of it was frozen, some of it was fresh, so it's liquid with a couple big ice cubes of broth in there. And I use the super cubes to freeze those and store them. And now all of that's heating up. So 5.5, I probably have 7 to 7.5 quarts. I probably will end up with 7 just from the reduction from bringing it to a boil. And we have 8 jars here because I always have one more ready that I think that I need, because I end up needing one more and then you have to go running around for it. It's no fun. So I have more, and I actually have more close by if I need it. I have my flat lids and my bands. I have my flat lids and my bands ready here. And I have 2, 4, 6, 8 of those as well. And a cup of steaming hot bone broth, of course, which is extremely important. I have the canning funnel to try to keep the jars clean. I have a rag that I'm going to put a little vinegar on, and I'm just going to use that to wipe the rims because we don't want to have any grease or debris before we put the lids on. Next is a ladle. The ladle I use is really old. Somebody gave it to me. Okay, we just want this to get to a boil, and once that's to a boil, I'm going to fill my jars. I also have my jar grabbers, which work like this to lift. Jar lifters, yeah, jar lifters. And my oven gloves, just in case I need those. Hot broth. I move that so the handle's out of my way so I can scoot this closer, and then I spill less. And then I'm not salting this or doing anything. This is just bone broth that's been skimmed of its fat. Most of its fat, there's a slight, tiny amount. I'm just gonna fill these jars. My goal is to leave an inch of headspace. That means the amount of space that's above the liquid in the jar, and that's 1 inch is what my goal is, which is about to the first little ring, the band or whatever, where the threads start for where you screw the lid on. Yes, it would be faster to pour the broth into these jars, but it's actually really hard to do that with a boiling pot of liquid that's this full. So once I get down to the end, I'll pour, but until then, you just have to go a little bit slower and ladle it in as carefully as possible without spilling. Bone broth is extremely useful in many recipes, way beyond soup. So I keep this stocked in my pantry so that I always have our own homemade bone broth. And I used to only freeze it because I thought that the high heat pressure canning would destroy the gelatin in the bone broth. But I have done an experiment where I made some really jelly bone broth, and then I heated it and pressure canned it, let it cool, put it in the fridge in the jars, and it did gel again. And you can see my actual experiment in another video. I will link to that in this video. When pressure canning, I still was able to maintain that gel, and that was what sold me on keeping this bone broth in jars rather than in my freezer. Taking less freezer space means I can use that space for something else. And having this shelf stable means that it will be intact regardless of if we have a power supply and access to freezers. And it's also just quick and easy to grab. I also like that I'm storing it in quart or pint sized jars. This is quart, but I also do pints. That meaning I have 2 or 4 cups ready for recipes. Many recipes call for a quart of bone broth, which is 4 cups when you're making soup. And that's usually what people buy at the store. They get those cartons of bone broth. But there's stuff in that broth that I do not want to have in my kitchen. And so making it myself gives me the control over what's in it. The preserving it like this also gives me the convenience of having it ready whenever I need it. And there are a lot of other people that talk about canning bone broth and how they do it, but I didn't find anyone ever answering my question about the gelatin in the bone broth after it's been pressure canned. I even had people tell me that it would destroy it, people that I trust, and I still trust as experts in this field, but it really pays to do experiments yourself, and I think when you do those experiments yourself is when you really learn and understand things. So for me, that was super important, doing it myself and making my own decision. So now that I have that information that I want, how it works in my home with my equipment, my resources, so that I'm able to can this bone broth and feel confident that I'm still having a good product to give to my family. Now this is exactly why I always pack an extra jar, because we just filled 7 and I think I'm gonna have 8 here. Let's see if I can do it. Perfect. I have just enough left to have some more in my cup. Okay, now my rag that's been dampened with vinegar, I'm just gonna go around the rims on all the jars. All right, now I got my lids and my rings finger tight, whatever that means. Tighten it, but not ranking down on it. All right, now that all the lids are on, we're gonna put these in the canner over here on the stove, and I have it preheating. There's 2 quarts of water in the bottom. Just follow whatever the manufacturer's instructions is for your pressure canner. I'm gonna put in the notes here of the video description which pressure canner I have. At the time, it was the cheapest model I could buy, and I'm super satisfied with it. A lot of people are using all-American canners, and I'm sure they're great, and hopefully someday I will get to know personally, but for now, this is just great for my family. I've canned hundreds of jars in this pressure canner, and I'm super happy with it. Got 7 quarts in the canner, and now we need to put the lid on. I'm gonna line these 2 arrows up that you see on the lid and the handle and slide it to lock into place. Now I'm gonna turn my heat up to almost medium high to bring this up to boiling and start the steam to vent from this valve at the top. You can see the steam is starting to stream from the vent, so I'm gonna set a timer for 10 minutes. And we're gonna let that steam vent for 10 minutes. Okay, so the timer's done. This has been streaming out of here for 10 minutes, and we've reached a point where I can hear it. Things are changing, and this locking mechanism is just about to pop up. But after 10 minutes, I'm gonna put my weight on, and then the pressure is gonna build even more, and there's the locking mechanism that popped up right there. That makes it so that you can't open the lid, which you don't want to, because now pressure has built up. So the next measurement of progress that we're looking for is for this weight to start ticking, and pressure is going to build up more in the pot until it gets to the point where it's going to be able to lift this 15 psi weight, and it's going to start to jiggle. And then we want to adjust the heat to get that to jiggle at a constant movement that's gentle and not spitting, and I'll show you when we get there. And then we will set the timer at that point to start counting down 25 minutes for each for these quarts of bone broth. Here it is rocking. We're just going to turn it down a little bit. And then set the timer for 25 minutes. Alright, there it is. And now it's done. We've reached our time. It's been 25 minutes. And I'm just going to turn off my oven. And then I'm going to let this sit. This just needs to sit here until the pressure releases. It's already going to start to drop, but what we're going to look for is this button to go down. That's the lock. That means the pressure is released. And then I'm going to still wait 10 minutes before I open this lid and wait again for steam to come out. Another 10 minutes before I take it off completely. So it's this really slow process to bring these jars back to room temperature from being so hot. If you go too fast, you can have siphoning or have failure to seal, and you don't want that. So we'll come back here when this drops, which can take a while, maybe even 20 minutes. Okay, over about an hour, I really slowly took the lid off, and listen, you can hear these starting to seal. Okay, hours after these are done, I've taken the lid off slowly and waited for them to stop steaming. And now I can remove them with my jar grabbers. The jars are still really hot, so I'm careful. Set them on a towel so they're not touching each other in a place that's not really drafty, so that they can continue to cool at a slow rate. Now I'm going to leave these on my counter for at least 12 hours before the next step. Hours later, now that they're completely cool, we're going to take the band off and test the seals. So I'm going to press this button on the top. You can see this little indent here. That's supposed to be sucked in, not popped out. If you can move that, it didn't seal properly. The other way to check the seal is to literally just, with your fingers, try to remove this flat lid. And if you can't remove it, it's sealed. Now, if some of the jars have a little bit of liquid loss, maybe the level is less than you intended, that's okay. That can happen from a quick change in temperature. So that's part of the reason why we're so slow when we're finishing these. So that's that. And then the last thing I do is I wipe down each jar with a towel. But if they're sticky or greasy at all, I'm going to use vinegar and a towel, or even soap and water to wash the outside of these jars. You don't want these jars to be dirty when you put them away in your pantry. And the very last thing is to take a trusted Sharpie and to write what they are. That's it. I'm going to label all these jars and get them in my pantry. Okay, so now you know how I can bone broth and keep this pantry staple stocked on my canning shelf. If you want to learn more, you can check out preservingtoday.com's pressure canning bone broth post, and you can make a lot of different things like this potato leek soup, which I also have a post on that recipe, as well as a YouTube video which I've linked below. Thanks for watching. I'm Lanny, and this was Preserving Today, a Greener Pastures project. Be sure to subscribe and check back for more videos.